Chuck E. Cheese.
Here comes Chuck E. Cheese.
Martial arts expert of reptile land.
I actually reacted to this video about 2 months ago, but it ended up being such a long reaction. I just totally went off on rants. It ended up being a much more of a podcast style reaction video, as I often tend to do. And I just kind of wanted to do the same, but sort of limit it, because I never ended up uploading the other video. So we're reacting to Why I've Never Had a Boyfriend by Alana Lintao.
Today's video is dedicated to the hopeless romantics, also for the people who have maybe never been in a relationship or are terrified of one. I've been a member of this community for 20 years now, so I feel qualified to speak on it. This is the origin story. This is why I'm making this video. Someone,
I have a clock,
who was talking to 4 guys at once, leading all of them on, by the way, right, had the nerve to comment on my personal life, talking about, oh, you need to get out there, Alana. Girl, you need to get in. Like, what, hold on.
Now, it sounds like she's going to be quite reasonable. That's a really good point. Somebody who is sleeping around, dating like a bunch of people at the same time, lying to them, screwing with people, that's a bad person, and that's somebody who should not be giving dating advice to anyone. If your dating life is a complete mess, then yeah, you're not qualified.
Let me reposition my heart. That was like not the vibe to like immediately attack. Rewind. This is gonna be a massive yap session. I apologize in advance. So I think there's a...
That would have been a really good spot to put that clip of Will Smith being like, yo, in the YouTube rewind.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
So if you see a little bit of yourself in me, let me know. It's like isolating because you see other people getting engaged or in relationships and you're like, oh, am I a freak, or like what's this vibe? No, unless I am just a freak. I think I'm like normal, so definitely not, but there's nothing wrong with me is what I'm trying to say. Yes. Okay, so number 1, I think most men are scared of me. Every guy I've ever met has said, oh, I used to think you were mean, or oh, I was scared to talk to you. Me.
That's just not the case, ever. There are women who... No guy is afraid of you just because you are not sociable or approachable. Lots of people, like, basically everyone can tell that that's just a front, or that's just how your face looks, or how you kind of act.
But I understand, because I feel like sometimes I do come off as very sarcastic and like... But I'm the biggest lover girl. Like, I write my friends love letters for fun, and like, I'm just so full of love, so I don't get it. No.
Alright, you're already noticing a little bit of the craziness. It's gonna get worse. You write your friends love letters. Now this is somebody who's saying that they've never had a boyfriend. They've never been in a committed long-term relationship. That's the case, but yet they write love letters to their friends. That is very bizarre.
Number 2, I'm simply not built for this generation's tactics. Everything about me is chalant. I don't have a freaking roster. I could make one, but I'm not going to because I have freaking priorities. Oh my gosh, and that's just like such a repulsive thing to me, because if you have the time to have a roster, girl, and the way that people like flex about that, like, and I feel like the stupid one for that, I feel like the crazy one for that. Never cast judgment on people, I never say a word, but everyone does it to me. And I'm like, now I feel like the stupid one, but yeah, I don't...
Well, you kind of are the stupid one, because you're not really understanding what a roster is. You're talking about it as though this is a roster, this is just like some weird, braggadocious, ego-based idea that somebody could have multiple dating options, when really that's the norm. So what a roster really is, whether you describe it as a roster or you don't, is just you having dating options, and you should at least subconsciously rank those against each other. Who are you most into? Of the people that you might potentially date, who would you date the most? Because you ranking them against each other allows you to really think and analyze and self-reflect on what you actually want out of a partner, which will help you navigate dating and relationships going forward. If you think, oh, I really like this person. What do I like about this person? I also like this person. Why do I like this person more than that person? That just gives you more perspective, more information. Exploring yourself is a key part of your dating life and your life in general. Discovering things about yourself allows you to navigate forward in a better way. So having a roster is something you have whether you realize it or not. You literally said that you could have a roster. That means that you actually do have a roster.
No, if you have the time to romantically entertain multiple people at the same freaking...
And this is where she really gets everything completely wrong. The time. Listen, there is infinite amount of time. Like, this is something that's always existed, first of all. People were doing this 100 years ago. You're going to have multiple dating options. Why would you not have multiple dating options? It would be really weird if you didn't. So yes, you're going to rank them. You're going to have a variety of options. You should understand this.
Time indeed is calling your name.
It takes no time. You could literally consider all the people that are dating options, realistic dating options in your life, and rank them against each other. It could take you like 20 minutes. It would be weird for it to take more than an hour, but you're talking like 20 minutes, and then you don't even gotta think about that for like a year. 20 minutes a year. And it's bizarre that somebody who's never had a boyfriend, never been in a serious relationship, would even be like talking about this. It makes sense that she completely fails to understand this, but why are you talking about it? Like it's complicated, like it's this thing that would eat up all of your time. You couldn't possibly consider your multiple dating options and get anything else done in your life. What? What do you, like, people, anyone can do this. Anyone who lives an efficient life can do this without effort. You can literally do this in your sleep.
Indeed is literally screaming and crying your name, and you need to log on immediately. You need a job, a passion, and hobbies in that exact order. Also,
to suggest that people with jobs, passions, and hobbies don't date, don't consider their dating options. No, you have to understand that those people are just more intelligent than you and more efficient. They're actual adults who function as adults, who can very quickly and without much effort consider who they like more than others. It's so simple. It often doesn't even require focused thought. You just know. Like it's literally just an instinct. You just know. That's why they call it love at first sight, or the idea of soulmates. It's you just instinctually know. Now, yes, there's criteria that you have within that, but you don't even have to consciously give it any thought, any time at all. Literally no time at all. You just know. So many times with women, the women that I'm like the most attracted to, that I would like put a ring on tomorrow, I wouldn't even have to think about it. Wouldn't even have to give it that much thought, because I just know that they're good people, they're fun people, they're funny people, they're great. So even if I hadn't ever thought, who do I like more than other people that I like, and who do I like the most and why, even if I had never done that, I would still instinctually know. My top 3 would still probably be in the top 3. Maybe their orders would be a little bit differently, right? If I had never considered, all right, well, if I actually was with this person, how might it go? If I was with this person, how might it go? Why do I like this person more than that person? If I had never even considered that, it wouldn't be like a monumental difference. Bizarre.
number 3.
And literally earlier in the video, she said that she doesn't judge people. She doesn't judge people, but she feels judged. People simply giving her the advice that, hey, maybe deep into your 20s, having never had any kind of committed relationship, that's abnormal. That's actually hindering you. This isn't a good thing. This isn't something you should be like proud of and bragging about. People just saying, hey, maybe you should do a little bit of dating before you're like 40 and can't have kids. Maybe you want to get this dating part of your life figured out, because that's going to hinder you down the line. When you're older and desperate and you don't even understand, when you find Mr. Right down the road 10 years from now, and you actually find a guy that you really want to marry or something, or be with long term, and you haven't even figured out the basics of dating that most people figure out when they're teenagers, you're going to screw it up. When the perfect guy finally does fall out of the sky for you, which you probably are just hoping happens, you're going to not even understand the basics of dating. You're going to be so far behind. Your maturity level is incredibly low. And that's literally because you haven't been dating and you don't see it. And that's really crazy that you're out here judging other people just for dating, just for saying like, hey, like maybe you should do some dating. This is a little strange.
This is so the romance books jumping out of my soul. My question is like, where are the romance boys?
You literally, this is how I can tell she's just waiting for Prince Charming to just fall out of the sky, is you read romance books, right? You read romance books and you write your friends love letters. You know nothing of dating, you haven't done it, but you're going to try to talk about dating. And not only, you're going to try to put it out there that your non-dating is somehow better than other people's dating. That you just could never even imagine. Having the time to date would somehow hinder you from getting anything else done in your life. That's wild.
What happened to longing and meaningful connections? Like, give me...
Longing and meaningful connections is ridiculous. Now, I'm going to point to one of the biggest examples, because she writes romance novels, which leads me to believe she watches romance movies. What's one of the biggest romance movies? A movie called The Notebook. In The Notebook, Ryan Gosling's character is a simpering loser who falls in love with this woman, who they break up. She marries Cyclops, James Marsden. She marries this guy, has this great, wonderful marriage, hits up Ryan Gosling, cheats on her husband, leaves her husband for Ryan Gosling. What was Ryan Gosling doing in this 10 years that she went off and lived somewhere else and married this guy? He was just simping over her and builds her a house. He just mopes and builds this woman a house. She shows up, they get back together. That is insane. That is like stalker, obsessive, demented behavior. That's why how ridiculous stories like this are how these women get to the, where are the guys who are, longing for me, who are, lusting over me for, 10 years? Yeah, they're in the friend zone. They're that, creepy dude that's way too obsessive, that you would never date, that shouldn't be obsessing over you, that shouldn't be simping over you. They're losers. And, for you, a pompous, obnoxious, judgmental freak like you, they definitely shouldn't be longing for you. No offense, but everything you've said, you've been dead wrong about.
A freaking enemies to lovers trope or something. What is this? When are we linking? You're so bad.
I don't feel safe.
I just threw up in my mouth.
So you're complaining about people pursuing you. Okay, that's weird. That's a freakish reaction to have.
I just threw up in my...
You want people to write you a love letter? Somebody who doesn't even know you? You expect somebody to commit all this time and effort into you, but your whole argument for this video is that dating eats up too much time? You want somebody who's longing for you and writing a poem for you and burning your name into the lawn? What are you talking about?
My mouth and swallowed it. That's freaking animalistic. Why are you foaming at the mouth? Please write.
What's animalistic and weird is what you're talking about. Somebody who's longing for you, who's obsessed with you, who's simping over you. Simp over me for 6 months before even talking to me and write me a love letter. That's weird. That's freaky. That's demented. And that's something that even if you dated that person, even if a great guy that you want actually did that for you, and you dated him, you would instantly devalue him, because you'd realize, oh, this guy was doing that for me? That's desperate. That's lame. That's kind of pathetic. and it would turn you off immediately. You would reject the guy. You would cheat on the guy. That's how a lot of guys get cheated on, is they misunderstand what like romance even is, and they do weirdo shit like she's talking about, and they don't realize that like the woman can actually detect that desperation and pathetic and obsessiveness, and it turns them off completely.
Regulate yourself, because I'm alerting the authorities like now. Or, oh, what's your Snapchat? If someone asks me for my Snapchat, immediate no. You want me to send pictures of my face back and forth with no dialogue? Baby, you pay my day rates for that. Like,
people talk. Like, people send pictures on Snapchat, yes. But most people, it's like goofy, random shit that they just encounter throughout their day, and then they also converse. What are you talking about? And then you're talking about selling pictures of your face to people? Like, what the what? When are you going to talk about actual dating? Oh wait, you have no experience with it.
Like, that's literally a photo shoot. It's basically a photo shoot, and I have rates for that. You send a photo of your face back and forth. Like, what is going on? Ask me for my number like an adult. And what frustrates me even more is it's the, you're so bad, mama. Boys, they're the same ones who will go on Instagram and post quotes that are like, just a lover boy in this generation of bops. Romance.
That's because they are. Like, they're demonstrating actual riz, not obsessive, creepy, simping behavior, which probably means they actually get women. So they are a lover boy. You're not a lover. You don't date. You don't understand love. You've never experienced anything even approaching love. So these guys who actually are like getting women, getting relationships, they actually have experienced love. So you talking this way about them is insane.
This is dead. Baby, you're the culprit. You're the one holding the gun. Also, I think my biggest point in all of this is the high standards. Oh my god. It's so over for me. It's so over. So having high standards, I'm not pretentious. I know what I bring to the table. So
you're entirely pretentious and you bring nothing to the table. Oh my god, you have no experience dating, so dating you is going to be a nightmare. You're going to be wildly immature. You're going to have to deal with stuff that someone should not have to deal with dating a person in their 20s. I forget if she says she's like 25 or whatever it is. Yeah, you just don't even know how it functions. You don't know how to love somebody. You don't know how to contribute to being in a relationship. You don't know yourself in a relationship. You don't know what you want out of a partner, out of a relationship in general. You don't know what you bring to the table. And if you did, you would realize it's almost nothing.
So I know what I can ask of someone. I set the bar high because the bar for myself, the bar is defying gravity.
You're right that the bar is defying gravity, because your bar is complete insanity, complete absurdity. The idea that dating would somehow distract you completely, it would take up too much of your time, something that people can just do passively, something that's like easy to fit into your life for basically almost everyone, would just totally consume everything in your life. That's way too high of a bar. You need to lower that bar enormously. The bar of just simply including dating into your life. You see it as this all-consuming high bar that just it's impossible to date and do anything else at the same time, which is so not true, so absurd.
Oh my. Which that's like also not a flex, because I just like beat myself into the ground and I'm like very hard on myself. Yes, okay, but I know what I deserve. But that's like the problem, is it makes you feel so isolated and disappointed.
If you think you bring a lot to the table, then yeah, you're gonna be wildly disappointed. You're gonna be 60 with a bunch of cats, and that's about it.
Because I'm like, what I want, does that even exist? Oh. I need to like, God, if you can hear me.
No, what you want actually does not exist. There is, like, what are you even talking about? You're talking about some kind of, like, weird relationship that just consumes the entirety of your life. It's like you plan to have some sort of career, have some, like, career success, retire, like, well, what, next year? Retire, and then go into some relationship where it consumes the entirety of your time, or at least the vast majority of your time, and then you just function as only being in this relationship and nothing else, having no career or hobbies or anything else in your life. That's really weird. That doesn't exist. I mean, technically it does. If you win the lottery, you could just be like, screw it, I'm not doing anything else, and dive your entirety into some relationship. You could do that, but you probably shouldn't, right? Even if you win the lottery, you should at least start some sort of, like, small business, even if it's not, like, something that you hope to make a ton of money off of. Something to, like, occupy your time. Even if you know, you want to dive deep and have this all-consuming relationship. That's the big problem with these films and these books of these love stories. That's what they present relationships to be, this weird all-consuming thing where that's your entire existence, right? Look at Twilight. Bella's entire existence is to be with Edward. Once she marries him, her life is over. There's nothing else for her to do in her entire life, right? That's the entire plot of that. Look at The Notebook. Their entire life is just this. Like, who cares that this guy sacrificed everything, that he was just simping for a decade to build this woman a house? That's just okay. You know, that guy could have been doing other shit. Ryan Gosling's character should have been doing other stuff. It would have been a lot less pathetic, and in actual reality of actually dating, he would have been much more respected by Rachel McAdams' character and might have ended up with her. But if this actually was reality in that film, then she would have never left James Marsden. She would have never looked in Ryan Gosling's character direction ever again. She was married to this great, fucking beautiful guy. He's Cyclops. He's James Marsden. Come on. But yeah, it just puts this, like, wrong idea into people's heads that relationships are just this insane, no arguments ever happen. There's just one or two conflicts in starting the relationship, but then everything's easy street for the rest of your life. No, that's not how relationships work. That's not how marriages work. That's insane. And especially in modern day, like, look at when The Notebook is even set. I forget what war Rachel McAdams meet James Marsden in. But in a time where you could just be a housewife. We are way far away from that time. You cannot exist as an adult and not have an income source. Like, you gotta work. You have to work. So this idea of this, oh, I can just fall in love with some guy, Prince Charming's just gonna fall out of the sky and that's it. Life over. No other goals matter. Everything's easy, smooth sailing from here on. That's it. My life consists of literally nothing else besides this. No, that world doesn't exist. We live in a world where you almost can't have a one-income house unless you're making well over $100K a year, or you live in a very small house and you don't spend all that much. You got a crap car and a small house, and you're gonna have to work, honey. Like, come on.
Like, oh no. Okay, I don't know, guys. It's like, bro, someone I took, like, art class with as a child, like, I used to make pottery with this girl. She just got engaged. She's gonna get married. And that, like, seeing people get married, I love that. It doesn't make me, like, crash out. It's just like a, whoa. Like, I just thought of the Gabby Hannah meme, sorry. Whoa. Whoa. It's just like a slap in the face. I'm like, oh, you're an adult now. And that's even funny because, like, when older guys, like, try to talk to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you an animal? I'm literally 16 years old. And then I'm like, oh, I'm 20. And I'm very mature. Like, I carry myself very maturely. I did grow up, like, a lot faster than most people because, I don't know, I'm just, like, really mature. Yeah, that.
No, you didn't grow up faster than anyone, and you are far less mature than most people. You just explained being shocked and confused by men asking you out. You seem to think you have it more complete understanding of life and relationships despite you never having a relationship, that's insane immaturity. And you having never been in a relationship is an enormous level of immaturity when it comes to relationships and life. And your lack of understanding is just another compounding layer of immaturity on top of that. So, some perspective would be great. Some self-reflection would be great.
That always just like shocks me. I don't know. Why am I like going off script? Like, can you just stick to one topic? Oh wait, Loki, I'm the problem too. I forgot to touch on this part because I think self-awareness is like really important. So
No, you don't. No, you don't. That's like if I said I am really knowledgeable on the sport of curling. Now, I've never been curling personally, but I just, you know, I just got that vibe early on. I'm just quite good. I just know a lot about it.
So like, yes, acknowledging my weaknesses, period. When someone, see, okay, when someone does show interest in me, I have walls built so high that it's like impossible for anyone to get close. Even some of my friends have told me about this, and they're like, oh, I know you like don't want me in your life like that, and I'm like, huh, what? Like, I do. I think that's just like a fear of vulnerability. I don't like letting people like see my weaknesses or whatever. Like, what? Because like my vibe, it's a corrupt vibe for sure, but it's definitely a vibe for sure. The more people you let in your life, that's more people who can
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably why you haven't had a relationship and you are emotionally stunted. Like, this is a problem. This shouldn't be something that you're making a video boasting about, that your perspective, that what you're doing is the right way to do things, because it's clearly not.
I think it's just because I live such a beautiful and fulfilling life alone that adding more people into my life, the more variables there are, the less control I have.
No one believes you. Nobody watched this video and believes the statement you just made, that you live such this beautiful, fulfilling, rich life. Like, what? No, you sound miserable. You sound like a cat lady who's gonna cry herself to sleep every night because she wish she had dated, wish she had had kids. That's the energy you're giving.
Is that my issue? Is it control? Oh, okay. So yeah, that's my vibe. The inability to let people in makes you feel like an outsider. Oh.
And the fact that you're having to grasp for straws so hard, that this entire video, that is you trying to justify you not dating as you just being like super mature, kind of demonstrates how this is actually stunting you.
I just wanted to make this video so that people can feel less alone. And maybe if you see yourself in me, you're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not a freak. You're not a freak.
No, you are a freak. If you see this and you agree with her and you don't agree with me, then you're a freak. You're justifying, just excluding this large part of your life, one of the true enjoyable parts of life, which is building a bond with somebody, that kind of like friendship / relationship, right? Like, it's a form of friendship that is unique and close and beautiful and enjoyable in a way that other friendships simply are not and cannot be. And ultimately, having something like a child, having children, is for parents, for other people who have kids. Nothing in life has come anywhere close to the enjoyment gotten out of that. So if you're kind of just excluding that out of your life, and you think that's like the superior way, that's just the norm, you're dead wrong.
I promise.
You don't have to have kids. I'm not saying like you can't have a super enjoyable experience without having kids. You certainly can. Not having relationships is a whole nother thing. Excluding that joy is wild. It's super wild as well. More wild.
Like, yes. And if you were, at least now you know you're not the only one, right? We can be like twin freaks.
Yeah, guess what? Jeffrey Dahmer exists. Well, existed. You know, there's all kinds of freaks out there. That doesn't mean you doing whatever is okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go and film an actual YouTube video.
And like, it's fine. If you never want to date in your life, that's fine. You can choose to do that. Just don't judge people who do. And don't judge those who see you excluding a large part of life and development and growth and maturity and experience. Just totally, you're self-excluding that out of your life. And they're worried that that is going to be a huge detriment to you, which it certainly will be. And then being like, hey, maybe you don't want to just cut this giant part of life out of your life. Them just suggesting that to you doesn't mean that you should judge them for that. That's them actually doing something very kind and beneficial to you. Now, you can choose to not take that advice, but it's really shitty to judge people for simply giving you good advice.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.